And 1924, good luck. We get white for this one, so knight f3 as per usual. Our opponent, 1500 games rapid, a little bit more than us, 1100-ish, just over. Now, we can do the normal reti. We can do d4, we can do g3, we can do b3, do e3, lots of options. What do we want to do? Let's go b3 for this one, just develop. Maybe the same this side. Actually, no, let's go e3 and just challenge for the center. There, we'll go here just to break that pin. Playing it awfully quick, isn't he? Awfully quick. So he comes forward. Okay, let's just go into the center and bring our knight up. Okay, so we can go c4, c3, c4. We can try and work on e4. I think I like the idea of that. I'm going to play rook across, preparing maybe e4. We could kick the bishop as well. We can play knight forward. I think knight forward early is supposed to be quite good, if I remember. I think it's supposed to be. Everything's protected. Yeah, knight up fairly early on is supposed to be quite good in a lot of these lines. So he takes us. So we'll take back and develop the queen. He takes that way, so we can go multiple ways, but we could take the knight first. Does it matter? It's whether I want a pawn here, but I don't think I do. I think I'm going to go with the bishop. We've got to make sure we can guard this pawn and try and push it. We might run into this sort of idea. Could be a bit problematic, but keep these pawns together. So he's played bishop down. So I can take here now. He'll have to go with knight. If he goes with the queen, we can take. So here, I guess he could just take, actually ignore it, and then we take. I could come back. I can develop the knight. How do we do this? If I take and he takes, I take, he just takes, right? So, don't like that. Yeah, let's just get rid of the bishop and maybe play c4, I'm thinking. Just get rid of our backward pawn. He takes, so we'll just push our backward pawn forward. He'd probably push down, I would guess. But, takes, queen takes, maybe knight across and everything's protected. Or the knight back over. Well, he's come over to actually attack the knight. Any tricks? I don't see it. I guess knight back is a move. Just to challenge this knight here. If takes, we'll have to take. He might then get rook across, but I think we're alright. Might be wrong. We'll check after the game. Knight f3 might have been a little bit neater there. Then at some point we need to play a move like h3 or g3, h4. Give the king a square. Excuse me. Yeah, for black, you're really probably going to take the knight or just develop your rooks, I would guess. You could move the other knight forward. You could take the pawn. There's lots of options. Depends how attacking our opponent wants to be. Could play a nice quiet move again, h6. Checking he's still connected there. He's got an excellent connection, it says, so he should still be on the game. So either rook can come across, I guess either square. If you take, we take. Then you can take here. That could be a bit problematic. So here, rook across. If we take, rook takes. There's a lot of pressure coming. Drop back, queen comes in. Could be a bit tricky. So rook across is what I'd expect. Either of the rooks across is what I'd expect. Or just take first to drag the queen over, then rook across. And then what do we do? Oh, he has done that. So he's taken, so we have to take back. So I'd expect one of the rooks across now, but he's actually gone more direct for the straight out attack. Now it might give me knight f3 to defend and get the knight out of the way at the same time. g3 is really the other move I've got here. f4 would just be a bit bold for me. g3 on knight f3. On knight f1, I guess, actually. Knight f1, we ultra guard. And we're not a target for this, but then he can take here. So I'm looking at g3 then. Gives my king an emergency square, but I don't like that structure. Knight back is that a bit defensive, but here it runs into this issue. So I'm going to drop the knight back to f1 and takes. I could just take and be left with an isolated pawn. Could be a bit problematic. I'll probably just take the pawn and keep the queen on the board. Okay, he's found that move, so he knows what he's doing here. So I guess I've only really got queen up. There's nothing else to look at. Is the knight check is covered. So here he's going to take. But yeah, there's not really anything else to play there. Let's just shuffle the queen. So he takes. So let's activate a rook and then try and run the queen away. Well, he's gone back, but now I can take. I did not expect that move, so now I've got my pawn back. So anything better than moving my queen somewhere? But where? Maybe queen across just to gently pressure the pawn. Or we can go the other way and come right across the board, I think. I could activate my knight as well, couldn't I? I like that. I like the idea. Calmly activate the knight, but if he moves his knight somewhere, we don't want to lose the rook, do we? So, where to go? Let's come all the way across. Now he can't move his knight in one move. He can in two moves, but not one. And I'm going to try and activate the knight, get it back into the game, instead of being too defensive while our opponent's got a nice active knight. If I go here, it just gives him a potential move to attack us. Right, excuse me. Yeah, that knight back move, I wasn't expecting. I thought he could have won the pawn there. Maybe he can. We'll check after the game. So we've got 6 pawns each, very balanced, difficult to create anything. We want to get our knight forward if possible. Okay, so we've got the chance here. So does it matter which way we go? Here is a bit more of a natural target. I guess he's going to move like queen down. So here, queen down. We could always play queen right across the board, I guess. But yeah, I want to get the knight into play, so I'll just come forward. Then we're preparing the concept of something like this. It might be nothing, it's just a concept right now. But queen in, we'll probably come all the way across and pretend we're defending our pawn. Tricky position. How do we do this? Let's just see what black does and then we'll try and figure out a move. Knight to b4 is covered by my queen for one move at least. I mean, queen e4 could even be a move for us and just offer a queen trade and then go down to an endgame and trust our endgame skills are okay. So queen across is definitely a move, but is there anything else bolder, like rook up with a view to coming over? I could just play the quiet queen here, threatening to jump in. But it's not a big threat right now. I could play a holding move. Yeah, let's do that actually. Just play a quiet holding move to give the king an emergency square. Our opponent has done that. But I like the idea of just queen across and just trade it down to an endgame. And trust we can play a half-decent endgame. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. It removes the risk for both of us, so it does that for our opponent as well as us. So he's offered the queen trade on this terms. Knight across to hit the pawn, and maybe knight can come in and hit the rook and the pawn here. I like the look of that, so I'm going to go for that. We're threatening to come in and hit the pawn and the rook. And if we take the pawn, it undermines the knight defense potentially. So he can easily guard this by going here, but then there's a loose pawn here, so knight across hits 2, right? So is this a move now? They're the two moves that I'm looking at. So let's look at c5 first. We attack these two. So we come here and attack 2 pawns. Now, is it possible to defend them both? It is with knight back, right? And I don't see anything, so I'm leaning to this then. And we actually attack the rook, so I'm going to come in, hit the rook and the pawn. But even if he guards it, we're threatening to take, rook takes and rook takes knight. So there is an actual threat there. Whereas here, I think just knight back And I didn't have anything. I might not have anything here, but it looks better. And then maybe at some point get bold with a move like g4, just try and bring the king forward a little bit. Excuse me. But the threat is to just simply win a pawn. And of course we attack the rook at the same time. So if he pushes the pawn up, it wins an exchange. So, oops, my arrows, apologies. It's a double attack there. So you got rook here and rook here, the obvious moves, but we can take a pawn. He takes and we can take the knight back and we attack another pawn. He can obviously defend it. We can then activate the rook and try and get forward. Or we can double up and just say we're just a pawn up. But I don't see the trick. He might have one. Like say knight here might be the move. So if I take... Yeah, he's got knight down, hasn't he? And what do we then do? Knight back threatens to hit the two rooks. So I like this. If he plays knight down, knight back threatens to hit the two rooks. If he takes, we can just shuffle it out of the way and attack him. That's what he's gone for. So I think we go here, not giving him too much thinking time. It covers this move for one move. If he takes here, we can attack the knight and we threaten to hit the two rooks. I think that's what he's gone for. So I think rook across looks good rather than going here or here. So let's come over and attack the knight, and then we've got an attack on the two rooks hopefully. So he might bail out and do this. We take, he takes, and we take here. And then we're still a pawn up if we can keep it. Or we could even take this and attack the other rook. So he's gone that way to attack us. So he's seen it. So if we take this pawn, he's probably getting forward, isn't he? This one will be doomed. But can we go here, attack his rook and attack the knight at the same time? Is that a move? So we attack the rook. If he moves his knight anywhere, we just take the rook. And if he moves his rook, we just take the knight, right? So knight a6 looks like a move. And he can move either rook to attack us, but we just take his knight. Yeah, knight a6 looks nice because we attack two pieces at once. And he doesn't have a trick like rook down, we just take. I think. And knight back here, we just take the rook. And then we're attacking the pawn as well. So has he got a good reply? Let's find out. If he takes a pawn, we just take his knight. So I think he needs to move the knight, but... Yeah, because if he attacks our knight, we just take. So he has taken the pawn. So I think we just take the knight. And we stop him getting this second rank. So can we keep our knight? Worst case, I think we can double up. It's whether he keeps it trapped, but we need to double up or find another way to get the knight out. So can I do that with a move like rook here, I'm wondering. Or do I not worry about it? But if I go here and he goes here, the only move to guard it is to go here, right? So if I go here and he comes here, knight back, he just goes here. So no, the only thing to do is go here, and he'll have to keep this under attack. And then we'll have to try and bring the king up. So the knight's extra, but it's kind of like, might be permanently trapped. So we need to find a way to get active with our king. But we're not getting in this way, are we? So I'm going to go g4 and come up this way. If he gets his king across, the knight might actually be trapped. So I'm going to try and bring my king in something like this. My knight might be actually literally trapped here. I've got rook up as a potential try, but he's got this. So that's what he's going for. So let's step the king up first. He'll do the same, but it might give us a check at some point. But yeah, there's no actual way to get the knight out, is there? Even if I do this and this, knight's not going... Well, can it go here? Let's line up the potential for knight here. But he's got this. I need him to be on a square where I can then move the knight again and give a check. Although here, I can actually move the knight, can't I? And he only attacks one rook. So knight there is a threat now. It is a potential move to jump the knight back out. So he's come forward. So surely we just take that, and he's got a shattered pawn structure. So I don't need to think with that. Now I can drop back. Yeah, and if he comes here, just move my knight somewhere, anywhere. Anywhere where it's not attacked and it's safe remove. Now rook is protected. So we can go here and attack the rook. And it must be safe there, right? We threaten a check. If he takes the rook, if we take here, he takes our other rook, so we take back. He's thrown a check in, but we can easily safely sidestep. So just which square do we want to be on? I think this one. We can still throw a check in. If he goes there, we can't. Actually, that might be problematic. Oh, we just take the rook. Of course, we just take the rook. We're threatening to take his rook now. So if he takes, we take back. Now, can we keep this knight on a useful square? We've got knight here, knight here, knight here. We attack the rook right now. We attack the pawn. We guard all this. He's got a broken pawn structure, so it looks promising. Okay, so we can come here and attack the pawn and the rook. That looks very, very nice. If he defends it, we just take here. So just attack this and attack this, attack this. And then we can eventually redeploy the knight onto a safe square where we can't bother it again. I think we figured this one out, hopefully. And there's not much he can do with the pawns, so he can maybe try something like this if my knight were to move and go for some sort of mate threat. But the king can't easily step in this current position. Yeah, not easy for black this. Not easy position to play. It is in an arena as well, so he might just move on to another game, but he's moved his rook over to guard this. Now we can take it. He takes, and that just loses the game. So as long as we take this pawn, if we need to, we can maybe bail the knight out for another pawn. We can check now. We can just come back here and keep him tied down, but we want to be active if we can. Check, he'll have to go here. Here. Well, check looks nice actually because it just drives his king away, doesn't it? Then we can always come back. But I'm going to drop back here and threaten to get the rook off the board and see where he's going to go with it. And if he moves it anywhere else, we can take. So where do we go now? I'm going to come all the way across the board and threaten checks from this side. And I can always do this with my knight, so it should be safe. So check, he can come back. Then knight here, right? It looks very nice. No, I can just check here now and get the rook off. No, that's got to be winning. Just get the rook off the board. Then king up and try and go after these. Activate the knight. I think we've done pretty well this game. I feel like I've done pretty well. But let's see in that opening whether he could have kept that pawn. Pause so we don't accidentally start another game. Oops, don't want that on. 49 moves, so they're the move times for both players. So this is the Nimzo Larsen attack in the classical variation. If you click that, you'll get some puzzles to do. Yeah, let's see if he could have kept that early pawn. I think he could have done, instead of dropping the knight back like he did. So let's just see. Indeed, there's a mistake here. So he's +2 better. And then probably that knight jump there. It's around about move 19. Otherwise, it's level here, and we just build a gradual advantage from move 20. Where's that? 23. About 96 and 91 on the accuracy. Not many mistakes from both of us. So nothing at all in these opening moves, actually. You can see until move 17 there. So just logical development moves. Yeah, knight forward is quite an active move in lots of these types of positions. So trading was good. C4 was good. Queen up was good. Knight d3 back was good. So was takes. Knight g4 was... I should have put the knight forward instead of going back. Then it just runs the potential of this sort of idea. Maybe this position right now it's not a thing, but it could become a thing. So I went a bit too defensive there. So we're worse. Now knight e5 was good. I should have dropped the queen back instead of going forward. Takes was good. And I should have just taken here instead of activating the rook. So -2 here, yeah, and he did indeed just play a simple move, rook across, activate his rook with tempo. So knight c6 was his blunder. There's one more to come. So yeah, activate the rook here, chase the queen away somewhere, and then maybe you can try and keep the pawn with a move like b5, I guess a4 and a6. So rook across, or queen a1 was the right move. Yeah, then b5. Guess preparing to double the rooks up. Maybe not. I mean, this is a weird line, isn't it? This is a really weird line, but not a brilliant position for us. So we went slightly wrong with this, dropping the knight back. We could have ended up in a bit of difficulty, but once we got that pawn back, we're now level or better for the rest of the game. So queen trade was very good. Yeah, knight to b4, we looked at that. It's just all it gives there. It was a potential move for him. But he played f6, so now we're able to just start building this little advantage, and it builds on move 29 with this rook move here. So we won a pawn. So his best move there was to drop the knight back, and this is where he's blundered. So it's 1.5 for us. But in this position, we've seen that we can hit the rook and then effectively win a piece, and it's just a case of trying to get the knight back out. We played it pretty well, but this structure, he's now got a difficult structure to play with the pawns. We've got the knight out. Then eventually we managed to get the rook off the board, and then that makes it relatively straightforward to convert. You can still mess it up, but it makes it a lot more straightforward. So it is what it is, but a good game at our level.